7 Austin News at 5.
The biggest opponent to expanding marijuana legislation in Texas could be Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. In a statement to the Texas Tribune, Patrick's spokesperson Alejandro Garcia said the lieutenant governor is, quote, strongly opposed to weakening any laws against marijuana and remains wary of the various medicinal use proposals that could become a vehicle for expanding access to this drug. Here to talk about this is Travis County GOP Chairman Matt Mackowiak and Ed Espinoza from Progress, Texas. Thank you both for being here.
Good to be here.
Ed, what are your thoughts on the lieutenant governor being so concerned about access to medical marijuana?
Well, I can understand why some people might be concerned, but the thing that I think is concerning here is that there is an overwhelming amount of evidence showing that medicinal marijuana has true medicinal effects. And in fact, most Texans are in favor of Texas expanding this issue, as many as 84% of all Texans. Now, realize we are not talking about full legalization here. That is a completely different subject, but solely on the merits of medicinal marijuana. It can help people who have extreme epilepsy. In fact, there's a law already on the books in Texas that allows cannabis oil to be used in kids, for kids that have extreme cases of epilepsy. So this is a subject worth exploring, worth talking about, that many sides, conservative, progressive, and all agree on. And I think it would be a shame to leave this on the table and not discuss it further.
Matt, what is the GOP take? Republican Senator Donna Campbell has filed legislation to increase the cap on THC levels for compassionate care, and bills have been filed in the House. Why do the bills keep stalling?
Yeah, and Senator Campbell's an emergency room nurse, and so she's got obviously some familiarity with the arguments in favor of expanding medicinal marijuana. Look, I think the risks are not insignificant, right? First of all, you know, when you talk about medicinal marijuana, oftentimes you can look to California, which was one of the first states that did that. They had a very lax system. It was almost a joke. Almost anyone could write you a prescription. People who didn't even have medical conditions had it. So that's obviously not the direction that we want to go. If this was a very narrow scope, that was a slight expansion of what we have now, which Ed pointed out, the epilepsy, extreme epilepsy cases, that might be one thing. I think the key point, what the Lieutenant Governor said, is he does believe this is not about medicinal marijuana, that's about legalization. Look, the Democratic Party is in favor of legalization. I think there's no question about that. The Republican Party is against legalization of marijuana. But maybe there's something in the middle there, particularly as it relates to medicinal marijuana. Again, I don't know that it's going to get a lot of attention this legislative session. They got much bigger issues to deal with.
Ed, what will it take for more progressive marijuana legislation to happen in Texas?
Well, first, a correction there. I'm not sure that the Texas Democratic Party is in favor of full legalization, but the platform does talk about needing to have marijuana policy reform in this state. But what needs to happen for us to get there is for us to have conversations and for the politicians to listen to the voters. The voters are overwhelmingly in favor of this, and whether or not you want to talk about it as a gateway, what you have to do is look at the medicinal effects. We talked about extreme cases of epilepsy in children. Let's talk about veterans who are suffering from PTSD. Let's talk about people who can take medicinal marijuana in non-THC forms, where they're able to take it as a capsule, as a form of chemotherapy. These are not gateways. These are true medicinal instances that have been proven many times over, and many states have adopted it. And I think it's something that would just be a travesty if Texas did not do this. Look, we don't have great medical coverage in this state. We need other options. This is a potential option for us.
Matt, will Texas ever pass legislation similar to other states that allow medical marijuana for pretty much all kinds of ailments, including cancer, for example?
Yeah, I mean, look, I would guess over the next 5, 10, 15 years, probably so. I think most states are going to move in that direction. And I know we're not talking about legalization here, but you have seen states move towards legalization: Colorado, California, I believe Oregon. You know, so we can look to see how those states are doing, what the public health effects are. Look, the concern I have with marijuana is that it affects brain development in children. And so if you're talking about extreme medical cases, that's one thing. If you're talking about a lax system where you can get marijuana into the hands of children, that affects brain development. It affects human initiative. I think that's an area where we're really not comfortable. The fact Lieutenant Governor has come out so strongly against this is very meaningful.
Okay. Matt, Ed, thank you both for sharing your perspectives with us tonight.
Thanks.